Can you hear me? Am I live? There we go.
Yeah.
Wow, technology, I tell you, always something happening and going wrong. But welcome, guys, to the Couples Academy Show. My name is Hassani. We are here this morning. We're doing part three of our financial conversation with Martin and Chelsea Matthews. This is a powerful couple that you want to know for sure. As mentioned, they are our financial advisors, and we've shared them and continue to share them with our entire community. They have a phenomenal list of services, but you can go to their website at letsfightaboutmoney.com. A powerful book. You can follow them on Instagram and YouTube. We're going to be sharing this throughout the course of today's show. But today, we're talking about couples who are in business together. Now, day one, we were talking about what we need to do to overcome financial challenges, continue that into the second session. But today is all about couples who are in business. Now, one of the things that we believe here at Couples Academy is that marriage is an asset. That's right, it is an asset. There's a value to your relationship. So we talk about the difference between companionship and partnership. So companionship is your ability to connect emotionally with your spouse. That's how we really can have quality time, sexual fulfillment, the heartfelt connection between two people that allow for a long lasting, mutually beneficial connection in your partnership. But then you have the marriage, the partnership. That's when we're dealing with duties, responsibilities, obligations, how we do life together, our ability to generate income, how we manage the finances, what we do with the power of our partnership. And so we're going to be talking about those couples that fell in love but decided to what? Become married to their business partner, or their marriage developed a business. Okay, that's what we're talking about today. So no better couple to have on than Martin and Chelsea Matthews. Good morning, folks. How are you?
Good
Morning,
morning.
Hassani.
We're doing great. Thanks so much for having us again.
Absolutely. Listen, before we get started, I just want to make a quick announcement that we're going to dive right in. Last Chance Weekend coming up May 19th through the 21st. If you haven't registered, get in while you can fit in. It's going to be something that you do not want to miss. Also, take this opportunity to like, share, and subscribe, because this is an important conversation that we're having here today. So let's just dive in. What percentage of the clients that you work with are actually in business together as a couple?
Well, we have a lot of our client base. We've got thousands of clients all across the country. A lot of them are in business together. I'd say maybe 40 to 50% of them are. A lot of them are entrepreneurs, and a lot of them come to us for guidance on that because we survey people and ask them, why did you choose to do business with us? And
Mm.
they'll say, well, you're like me. I see you with your family. I see you with your spouse. And either I really like that because I want to have a good, solid relationship and marriage and have a great business, or they see me as a family person. And so a lot of people reach out to us for that purpose. So almost about half of them are married in business together or want to be in business together and then work to grow and flourish and prosper with their family unit.
Before we get into those practical, tactical things that couples who are in business should know, I'm just curious. I know you guys aren't marriage counselors, but I would imagine that couples who are in business together, while they're talking about their finances, they're talking about business, you may get an earshot or an inside look into the relational dynamic. What are some of the challenges that couples who do business together experience?
Well, I think what we talked about the last 2 days are so important for building the foundation because a lot of times people get into a relationship without building the foundation of what's really important to them, what's their goals,
Mhm.
where they're really aiming for, what's important to them. And then you add a business onto that. And if you don't have that strong foundation in your relationship, and then also having the organization and foundation in your business, it really is a recipe for disaster. So it's really about one of the things that really helped Martin and I in growing our business is deciding what our hats are, like
Mm.
who's doing what. And so a lot of times that can be confusing and it can be frustrating with couples in business because everyone's trying to do the same thing.
Mhm.
And so being able to sort out we're very lucky because my strengths are not his strengths and
Mm.
his strengths are not my strengths. And in most relationships, you'll find that to be the case. So it's really identifying like who is good at what, and then
Mm-hmm.
divvying up those tasks and knowing what hat you're wearing. And I'll just add to that is being very clear about what hat you're wearing. Like when we're at business, when we're at work, when we're at our business, I'm not wearing my wife hat and he's not wearing his husband hat. And when we
Mm-hmm.
come home and we're having family time, he's not wearing his businessman hat and I'm not wearing my businesswoman hat. And so understanding who you're talking to and who you're communicating as is very, very key.
I think what you just said is so critically important because, I think one of the biggest challenges that couples who do business together struggle with is intimacy because they spend all day, all night working on the business.
Mm-hmm.
Pillow talk oftentimes becomes a board meeting in the bedroom. And it's hard to separate the two. Like you're passionate about what you two are doing together, but as you're focusing on a passion together, oftentimes couples can lose their passion for one another. And to your point, making a distinction between, listen, I'm wife right now. All right, I'm about to slip it on. I'm about to put it on for you. I'm not. I'm not. And so, and then you spoke about something else that I want to touch on that I think is critically important. Danielle and I ran into this problem, and I think many entrepreneurial couples do as well, is really delegating roles and responsibilities and having specific functions within the business because listen, there's many hats that you have to wear as a business owner, and sometimes you wind up stepping in a lane that you shouldn't be in, or you don't value the expertise, the competency, the skill that your spouse brings to the table. And so this is a phenomenal book. I'm actually reading it now for the second time. It's called Rocket Fuel. And it talks about how so many major corporations have come together and have blown up because of the power of the partnership of two people. And one is the visionary, one is the implementer, and how it's important to understand what role you play in that relationship so that you can quantum leap. What are your thoughts on all of that?
Well, I think that's the right way to really look at it. And Chelsea and I are fortunate because we sort of map things out that way. And so we even have a program where we talk to couples about how to strategically map out who does what when. And in our role, I always say I'm the CEO of the business, Chelsea's the CFO of the business. So the
Mm,
CFO directs the money. The
mm,
CEO primary role is to drive the money, drive the vision, drive creating revenue, and then she directs it and tells it where to go. So those are different skill sets that we have. And by partnering together, because Chelsea and I are true partners in life and in business, in partnering together, one of the things we discover is just you once you have those separated, you can really focus on the things you're the best at and do that. I'm the guy that comes up with all kinds of wild ideas. I got a million things I want to try and do and everything. And then I call it what to do when. So what are we
mm,
going to do when in what sequence? All right. So, and then Chelsea's more like, okay, she looks at everything. Okay, how exactly are these things going to be implemented and all of that? And so you kind of need that in business. If everybody's living all the way up here and the visionary and everything, and if you don't have a good like person that's like looking at the numbers and looking at what's there to see how you can maneuver things, not everything gets done the way you want it to get done.
mm.
So having that clarity is extremely important to create massive success in both your relationship and your business.
Now, I want to ask you a question. I kind of want to go low level and high level all within the same question because there are many who watch us, and there are some who are just getting started, and then there are those who are very seasoned and are doing things at a high level. A lot of people are doing business with their spouse, and really, it's a hobby. It's something that they have a passion for, but there's no proper business structure. They haven't formed any documentation. They don't have the right paperwork. I mean, really, so many people are doing things in their own name, meaning their own social security number. They don't have a tax ID. They're not formed as an LLC or anything. But then on the high end, you have people who are doing tremendously well. And one thing I know that couples a lot of times struggle with is managing the finances and strategically planning for the future. So I want you from the very beginning, talk to the couple who's just starting out, talk to them about business entities, how they need to structure, what are the first steps in terms of the legalities of it. But then I want you to kind of step into a conversation that we were having offline about what you said my next step should be, uh, this family office concept. So walk us through all of that.
So for a couple that's just getting started and maybe don't have all the pieces in place when it comes to running a business together, the first step would be to decide, like, where do you want to go? Like, how serious do you want to take this? Do you want this to be your main business? You know, what are your goals and dreams? Do you want to have employees? Like, how much revenue do you want to generate? How much impact do you want to make? Once you can figure out like where you're going, then you can fill in the steps of what you need to do to get there. So if you're doing here, one first step, if you're doing everything in your personal finances and account and all of that, it's very important to separate your personal and business finances. So the first step could be to get an LLC. So you would decide on a business name and you'd register with the Secretary of State, and then you get a tax ID number from the IRS. Then you can open a bank account and you can start separating your business and your personal finances. Then you're working on, that's a good way to start separating your personal and your business life. So when you're working on your personal finances, you're working on that as husband and wife, and also having clear policies and procedures of what your agreements are about spending, about how much is going to go into the business, all of those things. And then when you're working on your business, you're not working on it as husband and wife. You give yourself designated titles. So like Martin mentioned, he's the CEO, I'm the CFO. There are other hats that we wear in our business, but those are our main hats that we wear in the company. So deciding like what is your title and role, and then figuring out what are the tasks that those roles do, and then that's kind of like your starting point.
Yeah, and then what you do from that stage, so let's say you establish all of those things, you start to get to a heightened level of success, what I would call a heightened level of success,
Yeah.
where you've proven you've got a viable business, you're making money, you're looking at what should I do next. So there's a concept called a family office. Family offices are generally reserved for very wealthy people. I'm talking about $100 million plus. And Michael Jordan has a family office, billionaires have family offices. And what it is their wealth is so vast that they set up an entire company to manage their wealth. So it's an office specifically for that family's wealth. They handle everything from their private investment deals. They handle all aspects of their brand deals, endorsements, all these different things that come through that family office, and they scrutinize everything so the person can stay focused on living their lives, but not miss out on opportunities that could come their way. So because we've dealt with a lot of wealthy clients over the years, I'm like, okay, let's take that concept and bring that to some of our affluent clients, because most of our clients are business owners, super busy building and growing their business. And sometimes when you're doing all of that, some areas fall out. A lot of the personal finances fall out. Some of the financial lines fall out because you're driving everything. You're hustling, making things happen. So some of those things fall out. Well, you could be missing out on a tremendous amount of opportunities to grow your wealth, tremendous ways to protect your wealth, tremendous private deals you can get into. So, we have clients who, for example, we've got a couple recently that are in business together, and they came to us. They wanted to partner with us for our family office program. They really liked the concept and everything. And the guy, he's very, very busy running the business, driving the business, and the wife helps to keep things organized. So she's like, I know you need help in this area. And so we're able to help them everything from tax planning, where we look at how do you save the most in taxes and pay the least amount to the government. We look at the previous year's tax returns, and then we analyze that and say, okay, let's do X, Y, and Z. Let's implement this. And that's going to save us this much in taxes. And then let's then take that money we're saving in taxes and let's put that into these specific types of investments that fit for you, so we can create cash flow. We can do all these different things. So that's just some of the aspects of things that we're able to do. And they're extremely happy. And what he called it was, he's like, you're like the captain of you're like the captain of my financial ship. He's running his business. He's the captain in his life and in his business. On the financial side, he needs a point person. That's us. Us, our whole team, me, Chelsea, our team of advisors, other people who bring to the table.
Wow.
That's really helping him in that area.
So tell me what happens to, because that sounds amazing. Uh, it sounds like something that we need. We certainly aren't the elite wealthy, but I'm sure even on the level that we're on, a lot of those services we could probably take advantage of. But my question is, tell me what happens 5, 10, 15 years from now for those companies, those businesses that don't take advantage of a service like that.
Well, there's something happening in America. People have businesses that built many years building their businesses, and they have no exit plan. They never built it right in the beginning. So 15, 20 years from now, it's not set up properly for them to sell. There are lots of people looking for businesses to buy. And so they allow private equity, big people, big funds with lots of money want to go into specific industries. So you could not be investable. So they could look at your company and say, you know what, we're going to pass on that company. It's going to cost you millions of dollars by not setting things up properly. Think about that. How much would it cost to go back and try to fix it? Something you've built for 15, 20 years because you didn't do all that stuff properly in the beginning. What
You know
we're
what?
going to do is increase the valuation of our clients' businesses so that they can be investable, they can be sellable, and they can sell it for millions and millions of dollars more than if they didn't do these things right in the beginning.
That what you're talking about makes so much sense. Even from a personal perspective, there is a business that we were interested in purchasing, and the sellers wanted to sell it because they have a more profitable business, and this was like something that one of the spouses just wanted to do to have for herself, and her bookkeeping wasn't right. Her P&L statements were all over the place. You could tell that numbers were being fudged, accounting wasn't done well, just things were all over the place. And so, the valuation that they have for the business far exceeds what the evidence would suggest what it would bear. And so, to your point, like not setting yourself up correctly from the beginning and not properly managing the business correctly throughout the course of having the business, you're not preparing for an exit strategy. You're not, and you'll never get the company for what you think it should be worth. And who cares what you think? Like the numbers ultimately determine what it is worth. And so I see that. I see that so significantly. Wow, this is good information. Listen, what we're going to do, because I got to process this, we're going to go to a quick commercial break. And when we come back, we'll continue in this conversation. We're talking about couples who are in business together and how to level up financially. Stay right there.
Welcome to the Couples Academy app. Welcome to the Couples Academy app. The Couples Academy app is your go-to hub for how to do marriage right. Get started with our app today by perusing our amazing features that conveniently allow you to connect. This app is packed with powerful content and resources to help you grow and stay connected. With this app, you can watch our messages, find marriage resources, watch, listen, and read the real-life stories of restored couples, sign up for events, read articles and blog posts, stay up to date with push notifications, share your favorite messages via Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or email, and download messages for offline listening. For more information about the Couples Academy app, go to couplesacademy.org.
All right, guys, we're back. You're watching the Couples Academy show. I'm excited because we're having a great conversation about business. I love talking money and business, and who better to do that with other than Martin and Chelsea Matthews. I want you to go to their website, Let's Fight About Money. Where you can get a copy of their amazing book. Also, please follow them on Instagram and YouTube. They have amazing content that will really blow you away. I found out about them a few years ago. We attended the same church, but from a distance, kind of saw each other, and then started following them in the work that they do online, and was just blown away and had to connect with them, and glad that we've done so. Listen, I want to dive into a question here. There are a lot of clients, a lot of wealthy clients that we work with that they're generating lots of income, but at the end of the day, putting their money in a savings account does not serve them. They're actually losing money. They're not setting themselves up financially because they have a bunch of money in an account and it's not working for them. And then CDs, what type of interest rate are you getting on a CD? And I want you to talk about investment vehicles for people that you two offer that will allow people to make the most on their money. And then not only that, when they realize that there are other investment opportunities, how are they able then to access that money without experiencing any type of penalty or any type of fee associated with it, so that they can have their money work for them, transitioning from being just a business owner to an investor?
Yeah, it's a great question on that, because I believe that my approach to financial services is, if you're trying to build uncommon wealth, you can't do what the common person is doing. You have to have a different strategy. So your strategy got to involve, okay, what are wealthy people doing? What did the Rockefellers do? What are other strategic people who have built wealth, not just in one generation, but for multiple generations? What did those people do, and how can I access that? So that's where people like us come in. So some of the things that we've helped our clients to do was we implement strategies. One of the things we do a lot of is we use life insurance as our own bank. Now, why would anybody do that? One is, it's not a very common strategy, but it's something wealthy people have used for a long time historically. It's been well documented. All these famous wealthy people have all used it. And basically allows you to store money. So you've been producing in your business, creating income, you've created some level of success. We store that inside of life insurance policies because we can earn a higher interest rate than we could get at the bank. Because if you just leave it sitting idle in the bank, you're losing money due to inflation. And so if you then store your capital, have your money compound, which means it just keeps building on top of itself. Now, when you start looking to be an investor and saying, okay, I find some private investment deals or real estate deals. We have a turnkey real estate portfolio where somebody could access, affordable housing, where you can actually provide affordable housing to the marketplace and earn a double-digit return cash flow on your money. Mm-hmm. So I can then build my family bank using storing my capital here. And then when I want to put that money to work in some other asset, I can leverage that money. And now I have a secondary asset. Remember, I started with just this one. But if I leverage this to buy this other asset, now I have two assets working for me, starting with just one pool of money. Well, how do I do that? The way you do that is by using specific financial instruments that allow you to do that. Life insurance is one of them. We use it in a very kind of cool and sophisticated way. And whether a person likes him or not politically, the current president of the United States owns six of these policies. He's had them for 40 years. So this is somebody who's had them for 40 years. He's been leveraging his policy for 40 years, but it's not common to them. How come people haven't heard about all these different things? So we don't like the cookie cutter things that everybody gets the same plan. You're a unique individual with unique circumstances, and you have your own unique goals. You need a plan that's built around that. Somebody who understands you, a team that understands you and builds around that, so that you can create the success you want to create. So that's what we need to do for our clients: create customized things that's built. And that's really fun for me. I really enjoy it because I want to push power to them to help them succeed in their life and business.
let me just speak for a second about the importance of financial literacy, because when I first came to you two, Danielle and I acquired your services, there was a certain level of conversation that we were having based upon our knowledge base, based upon what we understood. And because I just had trust, a lot of times, to be honest, people just do whatever their financial planner tells them to do, whether it's good or bad. They don't know, because there's a level of expertise that you guys have that far exceeds what the average person has. So we're like, okay, if you think it should, this is what we should do, fine. But then I realized, you know what? I trust them. I see what they're doing, but I want to have more confidence in the decision that I'm making. You referenced a book, What Would the Rockefellers Do? Phenomenal book. And I'm reading this book and I'm like, oh my God, the level of insight that I got from it. And so I immediately called you up and we had like an hour conversation, and I'm reading the book and highlighting points and asking you questions. And I realized that I chose the right one because, I mean, a lot of times you deal with a lot of people who only know about a particular product and they don't know anything outside of that product. And you can literally confuse people because outside of that lane, they have no knowledge base. But the level of knowledge that you guys have, every single question that ever brought to you about financial products, about exit strategies, about the possibility of what could be done, has really reinforced the fact that we made the right decision. And so I'm saying that because you guys are the team of choice. And if you are out there, those of you who are watching this podcast right now, and you're thinking, man, we do have some money. We don't know what to do with it. We want to invest it into things. We don't know what vehicles to put it in. Many of you make the mistake, just like you do when you're seeking marriage counseling. You make the mistake of saying, well, I'd rather find somebody local, because if I find somebody local, somebody that I can sit down and have a conversation with, that makes me feel more comfortable. And my belief is, don't be a slave to your geography. Don't be limited to where you are. Like if I had a medical condition and I had to fly to another state because a hospital had an expertise in the very thing that I'm dealing with, and it was a matter of life or death, I'm getting on a plane and I'm going. So why would you do this, take the wrong approach to your finances or to your marriage by choosing to be with somebody locally? You guys are licensed in how many states?
We're licensed in 49 states now. So we've got clients all across the country, and it's a lot of fun helping them.
And if we have a client in that 50th state, we'll get licensed in there too. That's really how we've grown our licenses, is as we have more clients in different states, we just get those licenses.
Awesome. Listen, we're almost done with today's show. You've given us just an incalculable amount of nuggets that we can chew on for a while. But if there were a last message, a final point that you would leave us with, that's a call to action, what would that be?
So I would say for those of you who are looking for like full financial planning, you want a point person you can talk to, check out our website at 6buildingblocks.com/FO. That's the number 6. So 6buildingblocks.com/FO. Have a ton of videos on there. You can watch, learn about our services. There's testimonials you can see on there. That'll give you a really good scope of what's missing in your financial life and what financial planning really should look like.
I didn't put the I didn't put that website on here, but I want you all to take a picture of this right now. Take a picture of this, go to that website, follow them on YouTube and Instagram. And also, just once again, just call out that website where they can go to find out more about your services.
6buildingblocks.com/FO. And that will give you a full picture of a lot of things we do.
Okay, so we're going to be having them on regularly, periodically throughout the year, because they provide a tremendous amount of insight that you need to really get your financial house in order. Once again, I want to thank you two for being a part of the show. What an amazing conversation this has been. This is the start of many more. And for all of you, I'll see you tomorrow for another great episode. Love you and take care.